It's just like because I do goods and services for them and they owe me money. There's a
like
he
work
owes me
related,
money.
like owing money.
There's a client.
Okay.
Well, yeah, work related. There's a bookie that owes me quite a bit. There is a syndicate that owes me quite a bit. There is a client that owes me a little bit of money. There's another client that owes me. Tomorrow's invoicing day. So in my world of freelance, as I liked it when you and I talked to Rick earlier, and and I made fun of you, and he's just like, yeah, Adam's a freelancer, and
this podcast will soon be sponsored by QuickBooks, which with his accounting for all of the
I use
FreshBooks.
I do use FreshBooks.
Okay.
FreshBooks is good because it's for freelance stuff. So anyway. You are watching Dad's Bet Baseball. Next week becomes Dad's Bet Baseball and Football. I am Adam Rosenberg.
Yeah.
And with me as always is Slippin' Jimmy, CJ Buskey, CJ. We had so kicking things off. We had a really good call today with Rick Alec of Wager Talk Media and Odds Logic. One of the he's a Don Best guy, and so for those of you who are odds nerds, that's like original screens of like, here's all your stuff of what's going on odds wise and having odds boards. So
mean, to be fair, even like as of I started really getting like more serious about this thing maybe like 4 or so years ago. Don Best was still a player, like one that people would frequently recommend to go use for odds. So it was just awesome that we got to talk to him about handicrafts, and there's some cool stuff in the works. And he's just, first of all, he's an awesome dude. He's just a legend within betting technology industry. And he was just made time for us to give us advice on stuff too. It was just awesome. It was a very, very good, really, you and I were both like, oh my God, this is so cool. Afterwards. And you're like, I have to get on a call, but this is so awesome. And we love you, Colby. I don't know if you're going to get a cold open where we're talking about how your impact on the gambling industry and the investments that you've made and all, So, but don't worry, Colby. We're still glad to have you.
No, it is good. I'll take a quick note right now to say that totals are doing extremely well for me right now. Spreads not so well, but totals for college are doing really well. But
college, yeah. I think you and I are both on a lot of the same totals for tonight for college.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'll 100% give them shouts because transparency. I work with them, but Rhythm crushes FCS totals models. Rhythm absolutely crushes. So I will actually turn this into a CPA for somebody else, but sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, go to it and download Rhythm. Trust me, it is, especially if you're too much stuff going on, and just blindly bet the FCS totals that it gives you. Just trust me and do that. Okay, now back to our show.
Well, you know what, Adam compliments Rhythm very well is a place where you can actually take those projections and start and do some research with those projections. So, what are we SGPN?
Oh yeah, so I just realized I just turned my SGPN hat on. Yeah. Right?
So Hall of Fame bets. Want to make sure we give them the appropriate love that we do on this show. Yep. We are sponsored by Hall of Fame Bets. Make sure to use the code DADS. That's going to get you a 7-day free trial, 50% off your first month. We use this literally every day for our bets.
I have Odds Logic up, and then I have them up.
We're about to go use them right now because I think we should go find a strikeout bet for tomorrow.
I think so too. As I'm looking at
really been betting.
I haven't really done it a lot, but as I'm looking at tomorrow, so I guess what I am eyeing, not so into Shane Bieber against the Brewers, very much though into Mr. Ranger Suarez against Atlanta.
Interesting. Okay, he is not coming up. So I'm in Handigraphs real quick for folks that are just listening to the pod.
Oh, yours is very different than mine. Well, that's because you're looking at today.
Oh, right. Well, duh. Okay, that would be why. So
now do it. I guarantee he'll come up.
This is a team he owns. I don't think he's going to match the criteria, but I'll still look at him.
I think he will.
No. So my criteria for Ks, for what it's worth, is I'm looking at K percentage I start with last 5. So K percentage greater than or equal to 25%. This is probably one that you don't use because like you just found out about this metric maybe 3 weeks ago. K minus BB.
Schwarber, by the way, just hit his 4th home run. Sorry, I have to tell you, Mr. President, Jesus. A 4th home run has hit the tower. I cannot wait till Colby comes on and we have another reason to shit on Cal Raleigh. It's going to be great. It's just
it's great for that, but I'm not going to lie. I was starting to get some Pete Alonso RBI leader dreams this morning. So
whatever, man, whatever.
Whiff rate greater than 25%, swing strike greater than 12. Those are the metrics that I'm using for a filter. But you know what, Adam? Because I respect you, let's go and see what his Suarez looked like here in his last 5. His K stuff actually is still pretty. His walk rate is excellent, 1.5%.
He also like just anecdotally, this like just owns this. Okay.
All right, so you know what? He would have qualified for this filter I have here. 28.6% is unbelievable. K minus BB.
Well, go look at how this Braves team does. Like, this isn't stuff that you would see anywhere other than just watching a lot of Phillies games, but this Braves team against off-speed stuff. Just look at you want to know what's something? Look at all their swing lengths. Look at the swing lengths.
That's good. We do have swing length on here.
But basically, if you look at let me do it against lefties, but if you look at the swing speed, so you look at the swing speed on this team. Can
you explain, by the way, real quick, Adam, for the listeners, can you just do a 20-second explainer on what swing speed and swing length actually mean?
Okay. So basically swing speed is how fast you swing the bat. Swing length is literally the distance between when you have your bat in the stationary position and then when it makes contact with the ball. So an example of a longer swing is generally for a power hitter because you're getting a lot of the barrel. A shorter, faster swing, think Luis Arraez. But then you have guys like Kyle Schwarber who have both. And they have fast swings and they have long swings. And what you don't want to have with guys that are going against off-speed stuff is you don't want to have really low swing speed. The median swing speed in the league is 71, and you can is a 70.5. You can see most of this Braves lineup has slower swing speeds because this is a lineup built for power. So you have guys like Acuna and guys like I think Olson's probably like technically the best matchup, but he's something's not right with him. But like Riley Green's a good example. Like he has a really long swing, but he is really slow swing, and that's why he's a really good pull hitter. So these guys are all like Nick Allen and Nacho Alvarez and Matt Olson and Ozzy Albies. Sean
I do like seeing we've got 2 guys that are dark blue here on the K.
Yeah, like Sean Murphy and Matt
top 3 of the lineup, and then is still at 20. So
right. I mean, like the thing is this actually I think it's going to be a good K matchup for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna just also go see his line.
This is just you kind of look at it. I think maybe we can even look at we might even want to honestly look at like the under hits. He's just kind of also beaten up on this team doing that. Take a look at his under hits. Allowed.
So let's look at. So by the way, I'm on right here. We're on Hall of Fame bets. Very easy. If you are looking at a player, love this. You can just go search that player, and then you can start messing around with some of the different markets through here. So let's go to hits allowed, and I mean he definitely. I mean, this is, by the way, Phillies need Ranger Suarez to be this kind of guy that he was through the first half of the season, because clearly you can see coming out of the All-Star break, not the same guy. Last couple of starts, although it starts against Seattle and Washington are probably going to do that. But yeah, he's been great.
Remember, man, the Braves stink too.
Yes, the only thing with the Braves is I am curious. Let's go real quick. I don't mind under hits allowed either, but I just want to see for teams and batting. So 8 hits, and let's go last 5. Okay, never mind. For some reason, I thought the Braves were hitting a little bit better than they were, but they're bottom half of the league and just generally number of hits in their last 5 games.
They're billion. They're a billion. They're like a billion games under 500.
Let me look at. They've been actually okay against lefties lately, but anyways, yeah, I think under hits for me could be a play. I mean, what's his line going to be? Probably his strikeout line is probably going to be what, like 5.5, 6.5.
I'm gonna imagine it's 5. I'm gonna imagine it's 5.5. But let me just see something with this Braves team. I want to see something on. I'm looking on Hall of Fame bets on my end, and I just want to see. Let's see. I don't want him against righties. I don't want him against that. I want to see. Yeah, his actually the total bases against lefties has been not great for them. So if you look, because he went against Peterson, they didn't do it. He went against he didn't do well again.
Peterson had 8 strikeouts. So if we're looking at lefties that have gone against Atlanta,
I would honestly put Ranger and Peterson in the same kind of boat too, in terms of level of pitching.
Yeah, I agree. They're very similar in terms of their kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong either way with the hits allowed, because that's, I mean, if you go and look at, again, Rangers stats over the last 3, he's got, if you like him for Ks and you also just like that he's not giving up a lot of contact, then, I mean, he's got an expected batting average here of like 174.
I mean, his
last
game, the head against Atlanta, 7.7688.
Where are you seeing the head? Oh, head to head. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is what I was looking for.
Like his hits allowed against Atlanta.
This is a bet.
I think based on what the odds are, I would do it. I think you got to do his strikeouts, man. It's the same lineup. It's the exact same lineup.
I think this is over 5.5, and I might ladder that.
I would take it to 7.
Actually,
I would take it to 7.
Yeah,
I don't even know. It won't be up yet because they're still playing. But I would. It's got to be. This is, by the way, the best part about Hall of Fame bets is kind of going in and nerding out on like, oh, hey, what about this? And that's actually a really good lesson for everybody. Sometimes you go and you want to look at a bet and you want to try to force a bet to happen or whatever. And you're just trying to find like, what's the pieces for it? And then you just kind of stumble across something that says, oh yeah, this makes complete sense. Like there might be something that doesn't show up on the data, but somehow this guy, I mean, Ranger Suarez showing up 5 straight games. That's just this season, but that's just the last 2 seasons like that. I don't even think that counted. Yeah, it doesn't. That doesn't even count the October games.
No, this is the last 2 seasons. Yeah.
Right. So if we include the playoffs, let me do that actually. Oh no, I can't do that. When it gets to playoffs, I can do regular season only. But yeah, if you include the playoffs, he has 3 other games against them where he has struck out 6 or more guys. So this is a bad matchup for Atlanta, who I'm assuming from the alerts I'm getting have a position player in, with like Kyle Schwarber hitting 4 home runs. Is that the case? I don't know. So anyway, that is, you just saw like exactly how we use Hall of Fame bets. There's a QR code. Use code DADS as we mentioned.
Yes. Yeah, make sure to go
Handigraphs
well.
Also good compliment. We're not gonna take, this is Hall of Fame bets this time, so we're not gonna hawk everybody else, but as you can see, we clearly use the platform and we really enjoy it. And we're finding out that Ranger Suarez is going to be, as soon as those lines open, that is going to be a smash spot. So I'd say smash spot.
Let me ask you this, because that we really never talk about the Phillies on this show, so I want to make sure we
are 2 days away from finishing Phillies month.
Red August here.
I literally tried to write Pickett in my browser and wrote Phillies. That's what's on my mind. So
okay, your Phils bad series against the Mets. I think we both agreed very predictable. Is that though if we're thinking about teams that are going to get down the stretch, we're in the last month. Are you concerned about the Phillies, or are there other teams that you feel like are set up to have a pretty bad September?
So the last thing I'll say about the Phillies that I didn't even realize when I said, hey, this is a bad spot. I felt so smart being like, guys, it's a bad spot. It's a bad spot. I gave I said why it was a bad spot, but the actual reason it was a bad spot is that there's a random 3-game set after they had a road series that they swept, that they had a soft homestand. There was a random 3-game set against the only team that they have not won in since the 80s in their city. And then they get to return home against the team that they consistently have beaten up at home for the last 4 years. That's why it was a great spot. Like the MLB schedule makers were like, we're just going to make this a little bit tense. Give a little bit. This race is too boring. And then we'll let the Phillies come home to Atlanta and beat the crap up on them. So they did. To your point, the team that I, though, think is not going to have a good September. And when I say not going to have a good September, my definition of that is a lot of, it doesn't necessarily mean playoffs and things. It just means that a lot of things aren't going to go right for them. And they have
I know you're adding all of these pre-qualifiers. So
it's the Mets. It's the Mets. All right. Okay. It is the Mets. And the major reason why I think that the Mets, I tell you all the time, I like Pete Alonso. I like this Mets team. I don't want people to, I don't think this Mets team has a vibe right now, but I do like the Mets in general. But my issue with what I think the Mets are going to have is that in addition to having a pretty difficult schedule, because the teams that they play, Detroit, the Phillies, the Reds, the Padres, and the Cubs, they're all fighting for stuff. They open September with 10 with a 10-game road trip, which is aggressive. That's a third of the month that they start a third of the month they are on the road, and then they close with six road games. So to me, that is extremely difficult to prepare for any sort of playoff run when you are bookending the final month of the season, where you are battling for both a division and for a wild card berth. And you're not able to do that at home with your own facility. You're spending time on the road. You have to go to Texas and then go to, you don't have to go to Texas. You get to host Texas. You get to host the Padres, who will be a very important series, and you host the Nationals. But I don't like their schedule. I think that given the problems that they're having with their starting pitching, Montas just apparently had a UCL tear.
That is addition by subtraction. So clearly you do not.
I get it.
That's close enough. It's because the first text I got when I had the news that he's undergoing UCL surgery was from one of my Mets friends that said, "Thank God we don't have to see Montas again." So Montas he was dead.
It's pressure that goes on a lot of. I don't think that I don't know that this Mets team knows what its rotation. There's a lot that the Mets have to kind of figure out in terms of what they want their playoff stuff to look like. And they still have to battle for that stuff. I obviously told you before how I felt about the Reds. I don't think that it's going to be the Mets battling the Reds, but the Reds seem to be still sticking around. But given the home road stuff on this schedule and just the quality of opponent to start the month, I mean, I think the Reds will be out of it, but I don't think the Reds are going to be out of it the first week in September. So it's a tough one.
Two things with this.
Sure.
You're wrong. That's actually three.
Objectively,
so first thing,
sure.
You're wrong.
Okay, yeah.
Objectively. Right. Second, when you first told me this today, that you were like, I think I'm going to talk about the Mets as the team that has the worst September. I'm like, I don't know how you can say they're the worst. They're going to have the worst month when they're fairly locked into the 6th seed. So that means you have to believe in the Reds. And then you immediately followed up your text with, I think this Reds team is DOA. So if the Mets make the playoffs as the 6th seed, like I can tell you, every single Mets fan will be like, fine, they made the playoffs. It looked like 3 weeks ago, this team may not even finish the season above 500. So Third thing with the Mets is that you mentioned the rotation and trying to figure that out. Most teams, I agree, that is a problem. This team, their rotation was already chaos. This was already a massive problem.
You can't hurt us. We're already dead is the argument that I'm basically
That's right. Something had to substantially change, and it has been a different ball club because of two reasons: Nolan McLean getting called up and Mark Vientos actually figuring out how to hit the ball again. So for me, like, I
think a little bit more. I think a little bit more.
Okay, Lindor's been hitting fine. That there's other things, but I think those are the two. In terms of like differentiators, those are two big differentiators from where it was before. Okay. Plus, you've got Jonah Tong coming up this Friday. We'll see how he does. He gets kind of a cake matchup against the Marlins, but
you're getting some juice. You guys got juice. You're getting some juice.
I think that being said, and I won't deny that they have a hard schedule. That their schedule is pretty brutal. Especially, I think they have that 3-game set against Detroit coming up soon too. But For me, man, I think the team that I would be looking to see if there's an opportunity to fade them in some way is the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay.
So
which I agree with.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we can agree on one of these, because if you look at Toronto's schedule, it is the Mets schedule is bad. Toronto's schedule is a nightmare for the teams that they have to play, because you've got 3 against Boston, you have 3 against Houston. Crucially, you still have 3 against the Yankees. You have 3 against Kansas City. And okay, Cincinnati might be dead, but you still have 3 against them. What they will still be trying to play for something, plus 3 against Milwaukee thrown in there as well. So the biggest thing for me in terms of like with the Blue Jays, there. By the way, I thought for some reason their August was worse than it was. They still ended up, I believe, going like 5 games over. Yeah. 5 games over 500 for the month of August.
They were just, it was just the games that they lost were days that the Yankees won.
Yes. And to me, like, that's the big reason why this could be like, they're going to make the playoffs, but this could be a bad month for them, because you've now got a Yankees team that, they've never been like as bad as I think people thought they may be. And you're only, how many games are they out of the division at this point? Were they 3 or 4?
They were 5.
4.5. Okay, they're 4.5 games. Yeah. 4.5 games out. Boston's only 3.5 games out, though, as well. And you still had to play Boston 3 times. So there's an opportunity for the Yankees and for the Red Sox both to make up ground on you this next month. So those 2 series to me are going to be like super crucial. And those are also both teams I think probably playing better than you right now. I think you had said, what was the price that you got on the Yankees to win the AL East?
Plus 380.
I think that might still be a bet if you could still find
I think it's a great bet. Yeah. I think it's a fantastic bet. Like, look at the schedule for the Yankees. I feel like I'm having deja vu that we talk about this with Colby every time.
We did talk about the schedule with the Yankees.
It's just
it's 25th in terms of strength of schedule. Yeah,
the Orioles, the Orioles, who are the most exciting bad team in baseball right now. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The White Sox, who Miguel Vargas just left the game with a wrist injury after he hit a grand slam. They play both of those teams 7 times each, and then the Twins, who can hold on to an 8-3 lead over Toronto and end up losing 9-8. So, whereas Toronto plays the Brewers, the Red Sox, these very Yankees, Houston, KC, the Reds, they only get to play. They play Tampa Bay 7 times, but I completely agree with you that Toronto has its work. They got it's a strength of schedule of 521.
Yeah, I think 4-1 when you still have a team that's like only 4 games out and they still have 3 against
times. Like, yeah, it's not that's the thing.
That doesn't seem right to me.
It doesn't seem right at all. So yeah, ship that. That's the bet. I mean, we've said it before, and people can laugh, and I don't care. But plus 380 for the Yankees, this Yankees team that gets to literally beat up on a team that is 40 games under 500, and another team that is super exciting, but people forgot is 20 games under 500. No, get out of here. You get to beat up on the AL Central.
The Mets bet was Mets to win the World Series, right? That was the bet.
That is.
You did text me. You're like, you know what bet you should make? This was like 2 weeks ago, when I was kind of melting down and saying like, this team sucks. This team is like,
it's Mets to win the World Series, because they were 11-1,
16-1 Mets to win the World Series. Yep.
Yeah, they were 11-1. They were 11-1, and they're like 14-1, 15-1 now. Like, I would do it. I would play that. I mean,
you're probably
the only guys that I would do any of those is that I don't.
Tonight too.
Yeah. So, all right.
Time to bring on Colby.
Bringing Colby. Let's do it. All right, Colby. Should we start with? How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
I tweeted out that I'm going to let my kids know that Kyle Schwarber's my father, or their father, excuse me. That is their father. There's no way in hell I'm their father. That is going to be their father. He's all of our fathers. He has a chance of hitting his 5th in the bottom of the 8th, but I doubt he gets another at bat.
I took the under 2.5 HRR, by the way, on him, just so you know. I'm so how hater I was, right?
I'm getting DMs from somebody right now asking if they should take him tomorrow to homer, and I'm like, I'd rather take him to go 0 for 4 tomorrow. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to touch Schwarber tomorrow after 4 nukes. Good God. I can't believe he just is now 1 home run away from tying this thing. And Adam and I, Slip and Jimmy and I, we can all sit here and talk down on the big ass that's out in Seattle, because that has gotten me fired up all week long to where I'm red in the face. And I don't think any of us understand the hype behind what we have to talk about this. So I'll just steer us that direction of talking about the AL MVP, because what is the argument with Cal? Please, somebody explain it to me. Explain it to me like I am the stupid person you think that I am.
You don't play catcher. I'm sorry, Colby. You don't play catcher. You wouldn't know. Which my response is to everybody. I'm 40. I'm not getting on my knees and playing catcher, and you're not playing catcher either.
Pause.
So, like, what kind of argument is that? You don't play catcher. Okay, yeah, I know I don't.
That's the same type of person that will tell you probably were sat the bench in high school football. What do you know about football? Like, shut up.
And honestly, this reminds me of just you play ball like a girl, as just kind of the response in terms of.
I lost to a girl in wrestling when I was in junior high. What's the difference?
It's this, honestly, the argument of you didn't play catcher, so you don't know what it's like to be Cal, is up there with you're a woman, you didn't play in the NFL, so you wouldn't know how to analyze it.
We're like talking routes.
It's like, what are you doing? You never played football. Okay.
Can I just also make the argument, when you have an ass that big, it's probably cheating in making it that easy to be a catcher. Like, the thigh pads in the back of the calves, he's got that huge ass. So I think he has the upper hand there.
So
go ahead.
I want to stop for a second, because we've definitely dumped on the big dumper a lot on this podcast, but
we dump on his MVP case. Let's be very clear. We like him.
Cal Raleigh is a good baseball player. I would still love to have Cal Raleigh on my baseball team. That being said, we've brought this up a couple of times, and you just made me actually think about this. Why is Kyle Schwarber not a closer, at least closer odds wise to Shohei an MVP?
Colby, tell him why.
Thank you. I understand his question, because if you really just take a step back and look at the races, it's the same type of spot. It's the same guy in second place. It's the same guy.
It's the exact same guy.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, if you're watching Dads That Bet, thank you for being here. Also, check out Handigraphs. You're welcome. What do you mean by that? 2 guys in second place in the running for the MVP, or depending on where it's moving, and Cal could be the leader. They just hit home runs, and it's showing you tonight with 4 of them. 4 for 5, 4 home runs. 21st time in MLB history. They're the same guy. Also, when Shohei threw 9 strikeouts yesterday, it's over with. It is. If it wasn't over with beforehand, it's over with now. And
and by the way, for the listening audience, like, I'm not recommending you go and bet Kyle Schwarber. Like,
but it was it was an ironic point, is what you were making.
I thought about it all. I'm like, why is nobody making that point for Schwarber?
I still don't understand why Shohei Ohtani gets a pass from the fact that as a pitcher he sucked like that, but somehow him literally just throwing a ball has increased his WAR in some capacity. I don't understand. Like, if I'm trying to think if you had Marcus Stroman in this race, and Marcus Stroman is hitting like 35 dingers and he's got 100 RBI, but we all know how bad Marcus Stroman has been on the mound. There'd be absolutely no way that we would be looking at his pitching and going, well, that's adding value to the team. Like, no, but Shohei, obviously, because he's Shohei, and look, he's awesome. But I don't understand how you can have like above 6+ ERA and that doesn't get brought up at all in your case.
It's very interesting conversation, and I'm more baffled the more I talk about Cal, the more I'm shocked more people aren't pushing for Schwarber, because it's the same argument. Really is the same argument. Yeah, it's the same dude you want to show love for, and I love them both. Bring back thick baseball. I want the thickest of thick crushing home runs. So if anyone thinks I hate Cal, you're out of your mind. I'm just trying to be as logical as humanly possible, giving stats that are just so delectable, I can't stop talking about them. Oh, nearly 40% strikeout rate since July 1st, and 40% of his hits are home runs. Oh my God.
This was the third bullet point, and it's become the first, but I see someone in the comments asking who's our guy's ALN MVP, and we've always just mentioned
last year's guys, and that's
last year's guys.
Thing.
It's last year's guys on repeat, and that's the thing. And the reality is that it's not the same as Silver Slugger. It's not the same as having a career year. Like Kyle Schwarber's having a career year. I would never say that Kyle Schwarber is the MVP.
It's not Offensive Player of the Year award. It's not the Offensive Player of the Year award. If it was, we'd be like, yeah, that's definitely Cal's. That's definitely Schwarber's because that's second place. I bet you they added.
That sounds like some Gen Z, Gen Z shit of like, hey, we want to add best fantasy player in baseball.
Like a second place award, which is Offensive Player of the Year award in the NFL.
Offensive Player of the Year. It's really who won your fantasy league, as they say. Yeah. So, I agree.
Super side note. I wish the NFL would get rid of MVP because they only give it to quarterbacks. I hate the way they do awards.
That is also
MVQ. I've said this for years, Colby. Just call it. Just keep the award. You're going to give an award to
just
a quarterback
name it like
anyways. MVQ.
Just name
Most
it like
valuable quarterback. It's fine.
Yeah, let's just name it the Johnny Unitas Award. Like, just give it the quarterback name.
All right. So the question that I had, the other question I had for you, how do you go about betting September when it comes to hitters and it comes to players and stuff in general? I mean, you're hitter heavy, but you do a lot of stuff. You don't do a lot of team totals. Like, what do you see? What do you notice? What do you kind of advise as people do that?
Honestly, I don't really change anything up. Right now is usually when it heats up.
And that's the segment.
There's no sugarcoating it. I don't or anything different that I do because honestly, more when the playoffs start rolling in, you can get the feel for who's hot. Honestly, I don't like backing hot hitters unless it's the postseason because it just matters more and you need to stay hot. Like the regular season, I don't want to be on a guy who hit 4 home runs the next day. He had his boom yesterday. As Adam it's used that phrase before of talking to him. He just had his boom. I don't want to be on him the next day. Has a guy gone back-to-back days with a home run? 1,000%. Schwarber could have 4 home runs tomorrow. I'm not going to be on him. So have fun betting on him, but I don't really change my system. I have been dwindling down my amount of player props as of late because I'm just back to my addiction of first 5 team totals because
you've been killing those, man. Those are exciting.
They're so much safer. They're so much safer. So, and I don't mind paying juice. I'm not a big paying juice guy when it comes to baseball, but I know when it is worth taking the juice. Because if it's 1.5 runs in the first 5 innings, I always say that is a gift. If it's under minus 180 and you think this is a good offense to back against a guy who probably shouldn't get the respect of having it at 1.5 runs, insert any bad pitcher in the MLB, it's probably worth being on. And then we talked about last time I was here, don't be afraid to bet on the 6th inning score a run for that team as well because they usually come through.
Second highest scoring inning.
Yes.
Wait, is it?
Yep.
Is that really a thing?
Yes. And it goes back a long, long time. It's been that way for a long, long time.
That's honestly, Colby, that's like the genesis of the whole when the third time through the order became started to become a thing talked about in a lot of more analytics based communities. That was a big reason why, because they were like, why are so many runs scored in the 6th inning? And it's like, oh, no shit. It's because the pitcher is getting tired and they're going the third time through the order and the guy's seeing them again. So,
and especially if the pitcher's had a ton of guys on, but he hasn't let any runs in, you knew there was some momentum every inning. Guys were on, they had numerous chances. Don't be afraid to chase, even though it's good reason to go after that play.
It's also really good for pitchers. Sorry, one thing.
Go on.
It's really good to target that for pitchers that I know we're kind of pivoting this towards looking at third time through the order and how you kind of do it. But That's why Spencer Strider is an awesome one to fade on that, because he only has 2 pitches. Because third time through the order, if you are going against any sort of intelligent lineup, like don't do it against a young lineup, like don't do it against the White Sox, but do it against a lineup that has like clearly very smart hitters in it. Like a Yankees lineup, I would never do that against, because someone's going to like Goldschmidt, who's not had a great year, is absolutely going to figure out, oh, you have a changeup and you have a 4-seam, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like one of these 2 things is going to happen. And they figure that out the third time through. And it's a problem that like you see with a lot of young pitchers. Like it was the problem that Hunter Green had forever. And then they said, we're going to give you an off-speed pitch. And then as soon as Hunter Green developed that off-speed pitch, he started going past the 5th inning. It was a problem. Ladola had a problem with it too, because all he had was he had a slider and a 4-seam, and they're like, do this. And if you have pitchers, if you look, you can go to Baseball Savant and you can see the breakout. And if you have a pitcher where they only like it's a majority is 2 of their pitches, like it's part of the reason why Gavin Williams is kind of like this frustrating pitcher to bet on, because his third time through the order is great because he's got like 9 pitches. He runs out of gas because he paints, but he doesn't get hit around because of that. He has that arsenal to do that kind of thing. Sorry, CJ,
I was letting him have his time.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you rip here. What I was going to say, because you got me thinking, Colby, on you're betting a lot of these like first 5 team totals, especially. I like that too, by the way, heading into September, just because you're dealing with more variance on the starting pitching side. So full game totals, full game sort of bets like that, you're just going to have a greater degree of variance because you're not necessarily sure how long you're going to get the starter for.
Yeah.
What are some markets though this month that you're pouring one out for? Because I can tell you, for me, as fun as it is watching Kyle Schwarber hit 4 home runs, I'm not betting home runs in September.
I'm done with this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like with Cal, Judge, Shohei, the big 4, the MVP race guys. If my advice for anyone out there that wants to bet on those guys, you just bet the home run. I mean, unless Judge is plus money on the bases, unless Shohei's plus money on the bases. If it's Shohei or Judge, take the double and the home run. I think that's the safer route. If it's Schwarber or Cal.
Well, Judge right now, if you think Judge is going to home run, just bet him MVP, because literally the price is changing.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's actually really true.
He homered, Judge homered yesterday, and he was minus 105, and he's minus 120 today. I'm not even.
Well, and if you like him for MVP, bet them to win the AL East, because if they come back and win the AL East, he's for it's on the heels of that, and he's for sure MVP.
Yeah, but I was going to say, if it's Cal or Schwarber, don't take their bases. If it's Schwarber and you get a good price on the HRR, I think that's a better route. But those guys just homer. Like there's no reason to take Cal's bases, because the guy doesn't get 2 hits a game, and he doesn't hit doubles. He just had his first couple doubles this month, and while he had a 2-month drought dating back to June 27th, the guy doesn't hit doubles. Sure, he's got like 18 on the season. He lucked into those this past month. He's not a double guy. He's too busy striking out or pulling a ball, where it's actually, as Adam would point out, it's pretty easy to pull a ball in Seattle.
It is, especially.
Love you, Cal. Love you.
There you go. No, I the other night I've been doing pretty well on bases, and I just thought I'm like Bobby Witt. I'm not even going to bother with a home run here. I'm not going to bother with that. The thing is that the thing that changes for me is as you get to the playoffs, all my stuff changes, because it becomes so strategic, because everything's chess. And so I'll bet like power guys. I'm always like Harper. I'm betting walk every single game, because what starts to happen then is these guys don't get pitches that they should get at all. Like people just pitch around them, but I'm not betting home runs anymore. I actually do find myself in September betting more singles, just betting literally like the doing minus 110 on a single. Because it's just,
you can add that to the Cal's repertoire as well.
Yeah. 2 singles, which is just like, why don't I just do 2 hits? No, I got it. No,
I got 2 singles in my back pocket.
That's right. Yeah, with the tush stuff. But yeah, that's for here, it's cold here, so the weather's like turning already, and I'm just like, this is not October. It's not the, I don't know. There's also a little bit of the joy of the dong has kind of left when I'm stuck looking at Riley Green at plus 270 the other night, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
I mean, I'll tell you this: I'm never betting outs, and I'm not betting outs in September either.
That's a good call. That's a real
outs are a dangerous game to play. I mean, you can bet on as I've said on the show before, the OTDs, the guys, the out to dies pitchers, and hope that you can get some over outs on those. But otherwise, like I think you brought it up, Colby. Like you just bet the first 5. Like don't even bother trying to play manager because at this point, there's guys that are about to get fired. There's guys that are having contracts come up. There's guys that have essentially quit at this point in the season. So for me, outs is one. But I will say I find myself betting walks a little bit more.
I've been trying to dig. I've been using handigraphs trying to find a good spot to bet walks.
Because it's just, especially when you get into like, now these games are turning into more playoff level type of games for at least the teams with higher leverage. So, again, this is 100% just like a, playing sort of what would I be doing if I were the pitcher? What if I were doing if I were the, pitching coaches, but pitching around some of the, guys like Cal, like Judge. If you get into more of those, especially 2 teams that are getting down the stretch, for me, like, walks I'm a little bit more inclined to look at from a batter side or pitcher over walks.
A little advice for people out there with the F5s as well. People are like, well, what about pitcher earned runs? My advice is do not ever bet a pitcher's over earned runs if you like a team to score some runs against that pitcher, because errors don't count as earned runs.
We've gotten saved on that as a win.
That's why you gotta bet the first 5 team total over. But if you like a team not to score, suggest going the under with the pitcher in case there is an error and you get to save your rear end.
That's a good call. I used to think, I was so dumb. I used to think forever that if you walked a guy, it wasn't an earned run. And so I was just, I kept thinking like, oh yeah, this he just gave up like
Adam is the same person that thought if you walked as a batter, it counted as a total base.
That's what I didn't think that was a total base. I thought that it was a terrible argument. Yeah, I definitely would. So when I bet earned runs and like Mackenzie Gore like inevitably like walk the bases loaded, I'm like, oh, none of those runs count. And like Scott Reichel would be like, you literally host a prop show and you didn't know this. And I was just like, well, I didn't think it was a total base. So that's that was definitely me until I say years ago. It was really about 6 months ago.
People are still trying to push for that to count. Like, do you understand how poorly they would be priced if walk counted? Like, it wouldn't even be worth betting. It'd be like 2.5 minus 120 every time.
If you think that, bet the walk.
Total bases would literally be killed as a market if they counted walks in the total base, because one, you'd have to increase it to 2.5 for literally everybody. I mean, Judge would straight up get like 3.5.
Yeah, judges would be 3.5.
And if it is 1.5, like you said, it's probably going to be like minus, like it's basically going to be the same odds as to get a hit.
It's going to be like minus 170.
So why even bother?
You should make sack flies count as hits. Like, it's just while we're doing this. Like, all right, cool.
No, that's why you take the H to double R, big dog.
Yeah, really. All right. Well, that was really all I had on my agenda, was just kind of like getting the session going and pooping on Cal.
You did mention the Yanks to win the AL.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's a bad option to also dabble in. If you're not in this market and you're like, I would like to sweat out something to end the season, taking the Yankees and Red Sox is not a bad idea, because the Red Sox are like 6-1 to win the AL. The AL East, excuse me.
I mean, this is what we did with Tampa and Toronto back in June, because we had Tampa was 6-1 and Toronto was 7-1, and we're like, well, one of those two teams is going to catch them, and happened to be Toronto. So
that was in the middle of the spiral, because you know what's happened in previous years? They've never tanked the Yankees odds the way they did this year. Like the market sold on the Yankees very quickly this year. They were just like, oh no. Like last year when they were spiraling, they were like, oh yeah, it's whatever. This year they were like, no, the Yankees stink. They're not making the playoffs. And
I think it's because the market realized that Aaron Boone's the manager finally this year. And that's why they decided to sell hard on this team. Like I think that I'm not even kidding. I think that it might be like a huge reason because they're like, well, this is what Boone's teams just do every summer. But then you didn't have Soto on the team this year to like kind of build the narrative that yes, yeah, and especially once Judge got hurt for a little bit.
When do we think he gets fired? As a fan of the Yankees, I would much rather Cal wins AL MVP. They miss the playoffs if Boone gets fired. Also, another scenario is if they meet the Mets in the World Series and they lose the Mets, he gets fired because then the Mets become Big Brother.
Oh my God! If he makes the World Series again, he's bought himself probably another like 5 to 6 years.
But what if he loses to the Mets? But what if he loses to the Mets?
No
I
way.
think. Oh,
I think if you're rooting for him to get fired, obviously if they don't make the playoffs, that's your best case. But the second one would be they get into that wild card series with the Red Sox and they get swept. Like it's just a 2-game. Like
wouldn't mind that.
Horrible, and it's like okay, Boston now has this young core. They've got the second coming here in Roman Anthony. What do we have? An aging Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt, who's going to be 36 years old. Stanton, who's actually been very good.
The thing with Stanton is when he's hot, he's one of the best players in the league. But he's beyond
very hot right now.
It just happens. I mean, you could get an October Stanton again. Like he secretly was like your best. I thought the best hitter for the Yankees last postseason. Yeah.
But the problem is when he's that hot, what's around the corner? An injury. It never stays consistent. Yeah. It's always an injury. But yeah, I said on Twitter a couple of weeks ago that I wish they would have just lost to the Royals, and then they would have probably fired Boone if they lost the Royals because that was the easiest path of known to mankind to make the World Series. And somebody tried to tell me I wasn't a fan. I said, I am saying, knowing that they're going to lose the World Series, I would have much rather have lost to the Royals and then Boone loses his job because I'm done with this regime. He's like, you're a terrible fan if you want your team.
You know what fans are telling me that, Colby? You know what? So because I'm a noted Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I am in a similar situation where I've been begging them to fire Tomlin for years. And
it's probably the same with the Bills.
Every single year I hear from my Cleveland friends, my Cincinnati friends, why are you complaining? You've got a good team. You're competitive. You go to the playoffs every year. And it's because the standard is the standard. Like if you're a fan of the Yankees, you're a fan of the Steelers, these teams that are these winning long, historic franchises. Yeah. Like you're building a team to win the title. I'm not building a team to just make the playoffs.
And you're a major market. So like it's World Series or it's championship or bust when you're one of the biggest markets in sports, while Cleveland is, we just got to make the playoffs. And then it's
playoffs. This is great.
Yeah. That's completely different. Also, the Chicago Cubs front office thinks like they're not a big market team. It's just like, we're aiming for the postseason. Get off your ass and go make some moves. You're a major market.
Yeah. Might have been nice to have Sandy on your team. At least.
It would not only mean, or maybe just like probably another hitter too, given that there's a $180 million hole batting seventh named Dansby Swanson.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm not a Cubs fan, so I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's not my problem. All right. Colby,
we'll get Dean back on.
Colby, do you want to stick around for dad moves, or do you want to bail on us?
Can I listen?
You have a choice. We're giving you the first.
I don't have one off the dome because you guys are dads. Like, I'll have to think. I got this is a stupid one. It's like it's not a dad move. It's just like, hey, you work in sports. You got to do something during the week with your significant other to like make up for you being like, I'm going to sit on the couch the whole week.
That's actually really smart.
Hope she hears that and she's mad at me because we went out yesterday. That wasn't the reason I wanted to go to whiskey
Mine
night,
finally is not mad at me like yesterday, and it was just like I was like, I'm like she's and I don't know. I was just like, I know why you were, and then but I have to also tell her that I just booked a flight to go see Fish in Virginia Beach.
Also, the hat you're wearing. Shout out to your guys over there. That hat's sick. All of their merch is sick.
Shout out to Sean. These are in the merch store. Sean gave me this one because I didn't want to wear I told him, he's like, what color do you want? I said, I need a like one I can wear to a
You
Phillies
said maroon.
game.
Let me get a maroon hat.
Well, I said I don't want to wear a Phillies hat because it looks like a MAGA hat, and so anytime you see it, and so I'm like, let's get this one. It looks a
Shout out
bit
to
better.
Sean Green. Shout out
to Sean Green.
Never spoke to him, but we've been following each other for years. Never.
Do you guys know each other? Oh, man,
I know who he is. If I was just to say, I assume he knows who I am. I could be wrong, but he follows me. We've been following each other for at least 3 years.
I'm sure he knows who you are. I was bearding bets for Sean before we like became friends. I don't know how that worked. But actually, I know how Sean and I became friends. I was a fan, and then I got fired from a sports media company where I was in charge of their PR, and I will always throw them under the bus. And like Sean and Adam Peltier over there were like two of the first people to reach out to be like, hey, like we can't pay you for anything, but if you want to like hang out with us, you can. And
it's like a fraternity.
Yeah, no, it was like that was essentially what they said, and it was like super cool. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm indebted to you guys forever. And so I do like PR stuff for them on the side. I like host shows. I do get paid for hosting shows, like full transparency, but like I would do it for them. I wrote articles for them last year for free just to like because it was fun. So
they're not
awesome
part of they're not part of the System Play syndicate, are they?
They're not. The ones who fired me are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we had our first System Play. Was it
first one System Play? The second one was Boise State did not win.
Yeah, your System Play today would have worked last year. I will give you that.
Yeah, well, it worked. Otherwise, it worked. Most of the other ones worked. It's just
what's your guys' favorite System Play before we continue with demos? Got
everybody at Action Network being on one side and I take the other. That is literally my favorite System Play.
Come on, Jimmy. What's yours?
I'm fine clipping that too. I'm fine.
Anytime I'll say this, Colby. Anytime I hear somebody talk about reverse line movement, that's
that too.
Like.
You guys will love mine.
The fact that you're trying to bring that up, that the line moved one way, so you're going to bet the other. Okay, I never understood. That is the squarest sort of easiest signal for me to be like, okay, I need to be on the other
side note. By the way, guys, side note, but dude, rhythm smart signals on WNBA props are back. Smacked it. Good for bankroll build.
I was going.
Whoopi Goldberg's back.
Whoopi Goldberg is very back. Thank you, Brittany Sykes. Anyway, keep going. So, Colby, wait, what's your system?
My System Play is over in the old college realm. You storm a court, you storm a field, you automatically fade in the next game because that was your Super Bowl. And I know storming has become very mainstream. I still let that sucker rip. I still let it rip. Fade the storm. Typically, it's more in college basketball. But it happens in college football. Like when Iowa State took down the goalpost, faded them the next week. I lost, but it was the most fun I had talking about it all week. So I will forever be indebted to the Fade the Storm System Play.
College, it's funny because it's all spots and emotion because it's effectively like emotionally like immature children. That you knew what I was gonna say, but I shouldn't say it. So like children, hooligan, brouhaha. And the thing is, so like I literally have on my calendar, because apparently in college, if you played sports, you've never been on an airplane before, and so there's this system of like if you are an East Coast school and you fly west, you are super tired and you lose, and you do lose, and that's the funny thing. And so I actually have on my calendar. I will give out a college play right now. I have it on my calendar. CJ, did I put this on your calendar too? I put it on like a lot of people's calendar.
I put it on. I don't know. I've got a few like random calendar.
Okay, so
invites.
I will do this to you as well, Colby. So I'm adding Colby to the. I'm adding Scott Reichel's on it. I'm adding you to it. Colby Marchio. There you go. Okay, here's my reminder on November 8th. Reminder: Iowa State letdown spot versus TCU because they play Arizona State.
Yes,
put it on your calendar because the week before they play Arizona State at home, and then they play TCU's off a bye. Because in college, if you had even remotely multiple days to recover from something, because you're 20 years old, it gives you super strength to beat teams that are better than you.
True. Very true. Also, I love buying in the bad news on college. So I'm on Auburn tomorrow. And then was it also Auburn that got in the fist fight on the plane when they went to play Houston, or was it the reverse? Because I was on whoever got into the fight.
That sounds really hardcore.
I was on whoever had the fist fight on the plane. That was the easiest bet of all time. You're talking about a scrappy team that had to stop the flight.
Sort of like random angles like that. Like you just don't get that type of information, obviously. In like, I was looking up stuff today because Adam and I were talking about the Dolphins for whatever reason, and I was like trying to literally go through. I'm on any sort of AI search service I can to be like, find me, like, dig up some shit on the Dolphins because like what's going on, and the only thing I could find was like Yahoo Sports articles being like, yeah, like team seems happy, they're fine. Whereas college, it's like actual fights breaking out on planes, coaches sleeping with interns. Like this shit happens.
Todd Golden had a sexting scandal and they won a national championship in basketball.
I just want to say, for the people watching for the baseball content, there is no narrative with this stuff, in my opinion. Sure, I made up one today with the Phillies scoring 19 runs. Yeah, I predicted 19 runs. No, I did not. But I said, God damn it, they have to score some runs tonight because they got swept and they're back at home and they can only score at home. But if you're like thinking like, oh, it's bobblehead night, stop it. Oh, it's his birthday? Stop it. Stop it.
Otani's gone deep all three of his bobblehead nights.
He went deep. The one he had the 9 strikeouts?
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about a coin respecter.
I know, really. Well, you know what? By the way, I'm skipping dad moves this week because this is way more fun. The executive call on this one. Wait, there was another college thing I wanted to say before we kind of get out of this. It was I can't remember. Oh yeah, it was on SGPN on Colby Dant brought up. So Akron is
the other Colby.
The other Colby. He brought up how Akron is academically ineligible in football this year, so they can't go to a bowl game because of last year. And he pointed out, he said, first of all, I love to back a team like this because it's a bunch of dumb kids that don't care, so they're just obviously going to beat the crap out of somebody. And two, why would you punish the team this year for the people that graduated last year and were academically ineligible? Like, how does that? And then I was thinking about it, talking with Scott about it. I'm like, well, these kids clearly are just basically mercenaries who are like, I just want to play football. Like they could have picked any school in the transfer portal. Like,
I love that lean.
And I don't have to do that. I love that.
I did that with I think it was Jackson State. Last year they were bowl eligible. The year prior, it was like their last game of the season. I took them because that was and they were like good. And they weren't bowl eligible. So like this was their stick it to the NCAA moment because they were the new kids on the block. And I think they killed whoever they played.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, for the last, like, I would say, really, honestly, since the college football playoff became a thing, there was a good 5-6 year stretch where you could literally make so much money just betting against like the 5th or the 6th team, the team that was always going to be right on the edge of missing the playoff because nobody gave a shit once they played in their bowl game. Like go look at the average spread difference for those teams in their actual bowl game. I think it's like they lost by an average of like 19 points or something. So that one, people have figured that one out, especially with the transfer portal. But that was always one of my favorite ones, was like none of these, the teams that are so close, they've been building up for this. They're not going to have anything else really to play for. And then they literally just don't like show up at all. That Auburn one, by the way, Colby, just to tie a bow on that, because I had to go back and double check because I remember this very vividly. That was it. That was Auburn. That was their basketball team.
Yes.
And no shocker that Bruce Pearl was the one also on the plane trying to mediate the situation, because Bruce Pearl.
I remember listening to the pilot radio. Yeah, we got a couple kids in the back fist fighting.
I totally remember this. It was
I was like, I have to take Auburn.
They had to turn the plane around. They had to literally come back, deboard the plane, get them off of the plane, and then get back on and fly to Houston.
I was like, they're the L word. This is an L word. They're ready to go. They're ready to kill the Cougars.
They beat them. They
blew the door. I think, they won outright. Whatever the spread was, they covered that.
74-69. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. This was good. This was way better than dad moves. This is a good change of the week. All right. Colby, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find all of my write-ups, bets, etc., streaming All of that on at Colby M Bets on Twitter. You can follow Betting News. That is where all my write-ups are at as well. Give them a follow over there. Adam was kind enough to hook us up with a sponsor. He also needs merch. I got to get him some merch. I got to get both of you guys some merch.
Oh, yeah. We'll totally take merch.
Got to get you guys some hats. Probably give you my favorite because it's my logo and I paid for it.
Game worn. Colby
Marchio. I'll wear it. I'll give it to you.
I like that logo.
One of one.
It reminds me of a World Series. It looks like a World Series trophy. Every time I see that,
I do like that hat. Yeah, I like that.
But a lot. Follow me on X/Twitter. The cool kids will always call it Twitter at Colby M Bets. COLBYMBETS. That is it. And as always, as the third member of Dads That Bet, I love this place.
Awesome. We love having you. All right. So for Spencer at Spencer_Ray, our producer, thank you again. Reminder, Handigraphs, HG Dads, double reminder though, Hall of Fame bets that you're going to want to use that all season. We start doing NFL on Monday night. We're going to have NFL stuff, and next Wednesday we'll have baseball, and then the following weeks it'll be reversed. I think, I don't know, CJ's in Denver, so I can't remember what we're doing next week, but Monday we definitely
we'll be on Thursday. We'll be on
Monday. Oh, Thursday. Yeah. We definitely have a show on Monday
next week, and then we go to Monday, Wednesday.
That's right. Okay. And then so use code DADS for the CJ Slip and Jimmy. His Twitter is at Dads That Bet, and I'm Adam Rosenberg at Hey Rosenberg. And CJ, at this time, as everyone likes and subscribes and shares this with their friends, I would love to give you, what is the final word?
I'm going to I don't know. I said dumper last time. It can't be dumper again. I have no word. There's no word. It's blank. It's untitled. That's the word. That's the word.
All right. Mine was going to be, if you had asked for roles reverse, I know exactly what mine would have been. You want to do it reverse? Want to try to reverse it just for this?
Sure,
one?
Please.
All right,
please
do it. Team me up.
I gave no word, so you
team me up. Team me up.
All right, Adam. What's the word?
Why did I take under Kyle Schwarber hits, runs, RBIs?
That should okay. Yeah, that